Thank you for tuning in. This is Sanctuary, brought to you by Robert and Brad. How you doing, Brad?
I am doing fantastic, Robert. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. So to get into the game here, we've got in first position Beachbod God on Mystic Enforcer, a mainstay of these tournaments and a thorn in my side. Forced me to include an extra couple blue spells. If
Yep.
you're not familiar, it's got protection from black. In second position, we got Lee W on Tobias Doomed Conqueror. Deck I'll honestly say I'm not familiar with, but we're gonna maybe learn about that here in just a second. And then we've got in third position Dingus on Alexios, just mono red house of the format. And then
Gross.
in the fourth position, we've got Mizu on Tatiova, bringing it back. We saw that last week. Get absolutely flooded, which is something I have never seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, Tobias is from Dominaria United. 4 mana Azorius 3/2 with flash, and when it dies, for each non-token creature you controlled that died this turn, make a zombie. Make a 2/2 zombie.
So we're going wide, and that sounds pretty, like, if you can loop that sounds like you can really get something going there.
Yeah.
So getting into the game for Tobias, we've got the bird what scries because of artifacts, and then Beachbod is finding a land in the top. I don't know the names of these cards. It looks like a Blanchwood Prowler for Mystic Beachbod on Mystic Enforcer.
There we go. We don't have professional human Derek's ability to spot magic art from 100 paces.
Oh, it's incredible.
It is impressive.
There's just so many cards in PDH.
Yeah.
This one I'm a little bit more familiar with. This is the Courier that.
Oh, there's Derek. Welcome to the show, Derek.
Speak of the devil. Happened to be twice
Uh-huh.
today so far. Yeah, that was a combat courier that you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to draw a card, and then it's got Unearth.
Yep.
Which we're seeing.
Pretty neat little guy. I like that one. Very utility driven.
Yeah, especially in a death trigger deck. Perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's turn 2 for Alexios. It's about time for Alexios, but but just a generator servant is going to be able to give it an extra little haste. Not that it doesn't
Yep.
like it has pseudo haste, but now has true haste
Right.
or will.
Now it's a true menace. Looks like nothing for Mizu on turn 2.
Just second island, which
Yeah.
that's
Probably want
enough.
to see a green source here sooner than later.
Yeah, that is going to ward off an attacking Alexios most likely. Honored heirloom out of Beachbod that's pretty good against Mizu at
Open
least.
this up.
It looks like Mizu is
Yeah.
gonna shake around his islands and think about I gotta counter this now it's gonna be on the field forever.
He's gonna threaten with 2 islands up.
Looks like Blanchwood Prowler gonna hit in for 1 on Dingus. Mizu's getting prepared with his own Alexios because it looks like it's
coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, baby. I mean, I know we have basically 3 of the 4 decks in this particular pod are tournament decks, and they're probably all built for tournaments. But I like these F&M events because you get to see kind of out there stuff. Even if it's a normal commander you see all the time, you'll see a different build of it or what have you. But like this Tobias, I've never seen Tobias at a table, never seen a deck for it. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, and that player gets to play against, like, get some really good testing in.
Yeah.
The more of these types of events, just like the more that we can elevate games of PDH and motivate people to play, is it's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we see an Alexios and then thumbs up all around. Another mountain, and for Dingus, for is that a kite sail? Something to that effect. Like that Alexios attacked Lee.
Mm-hmm.
That would be for 4. And
And that's got to be just based off board presence, right?
Well, there's the Kami. Yeah, the Kami is a huge consideration for this, I suspect.
Yeah.
If I'm Mizu, I'm very thankful for that.
Yes.
If a Tatiova isn't immediately arc enemy, that's a win.
Always a good thing.
You always want to be the second fastest combo deck.
Yep.
And speaking of the second fastest combo deck, Gator is saying in chat like, "Oh dang, I got the buy. I can't play my darn Sphinx deck," and that would have tickled me. I hope round 2 we get to see that.
Yeah. That's a fun deck to watch. First time chatter Potter in the chat. Welcome. F&M. Whoop whoop.
Looks like Mizu did pass the turn just after a rampant growth, putting him up to 4 lands, almost ready for actually a couple turns off of Tatiova because you don't want to play it right away. But
Yeah, you want to leave something up for protection.
he just leaves
Or
up a blue
interaction
and
or something.
passes.
Yep.
So do you think that Alexios is?
Uh-oh.
Oh, what's this?
Spirit Link from Beachbod on Alexios. Oops.
That's very interesting. It doesn't stop commander damage.
Right. That'd be a hella amount of life gain for Beachbod.
It's a very interesting move. I'm trying to figure out like, what does that mean?
Implication-wise, I have no idea. But that is pretty wild.
All right, we absolutely need help identifying that card. Okay, it looks like they're just looking at the top.
Say its name, Derek says. All right, all right. That's a good one. That's a fun one.
So say its name, sorcery mill 3, you
Yeah,
may
2
return a
mana.
creature or land from the graveyard to the hand, and then you can also exile it from your graveyard, and 2 other cards names that says with the name say its name.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any more text.
Just Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Punk says Adam is asking the Alexios to kill him, just like with that spirit link. It feels a bit like it, but it could just be setting up for like, if I survive this, then it sets me up against Tobias, just doing actual combat damage. I mean, possibly.
God, Alexios just gets so big so fast.
Yeah, if it stays out for 2 turns, you should win the game.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be it for Mizu.
Is that a stasis field?
Yeah, that is a stasis field.
Yep. One more turn.
Just
one more turn.
like, I had it, I just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
Alexios is a huge question for the table, though.
It's got to be dealt with. Like, real fast. Real fast.
And it becomes like this weird sub game with like rattlesnakes, like the Kami of False Hope, of like, well, I'm not going to send it to them because it's useless, or do I just send it at them and rip the band-aid off?
Yeah, I think you have to get rid of that Kami as soon as possible, right?
I mean, unless there's a player I respect getting rid of Tatiova very quickly.
Oh, sure.
But after that, I mean, what else do you like? I guess it hasn't attacked Beach much yet. I guess we wouldn't really know because we're going off of life totals here, and his life total's not going to change.
Yeah.
But Beach is priced into, there's only one person that he can attack. That's Lee, and there's the Kami of False Hope popped.
Yep. Yeah. Excuse me. If I'm Dingus, I don't know that I'm super concerned about the Spirit Link. I mean, it's annoying, but like, Beach Pod can still die to combat damage or commander damage.
Yeah, it's like not really annoying at all. It's just being Alexios and getting into the 1v1 is the hardest part of the game to win.
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm trying to think what kind of removal is going to be going on here, because if it's a bounce spell, that's fine. But if it's any other kind of removal spell, that 1v1 becomes next to impossible. And like Mystic Enforcer is now out. Beach just played that.
That's also another one that can get real big real fast.
Yeah, that one should only take like 1 or 2 turns. Like this is its Summoning Sickness turn, and the next turn if it's swinging for like 8, because it goes off of Threshold, and that looks like Threshold to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Beach Pod's good there.
I hope we do get to see a big turn out of Lee though. It's just been under insane pressure.
Yeah. See his deck do something. 16 hours mandatory tomorrow. Ooh, do. Good luck, dude. Get some sleep. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out and keeping people alive.
Spreading the good word. Yeah, thanks for keeping people alive. I feel like this is a fairly important turn here for Lee. Suddenly with Alexios so big and Mystic Enforcer on the board, they feel like they're pretty far behind.
What just happened there? So Mystic Enforcer, Beachbot is still holding on to Alexios.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But
not sure, Rosium. I haven't seen the deck list for Tobias. I'm not sure if it's combo built or just a straight up Azorius beatdown.
But over on the right, there is a Tamiyo's Completion, which would lose all abilities. That's how that Alexios is staying over there. Lee's come up with a solution.
There we go. Like any good Azorius player. I'd like to see just a good old Azorius control deck in the format. I don't think that we have really the pieces to make it viable, but...
Yeah, the ones that jump to mind are like Wrath and stuff that are like, maybe not so control deck.
Right.
I'll say, this doesn't look like a control deck either. It's
no, it does
more
not. No.
Like it's going to do some broken stuff here.
Yeah. Oh, I think I found the Tobias deck on Moxfield. I'll drop it in the chat here.
Sweet.
Well, this particular version is Ashnods, Mia Retriever, Sack.
Okay. It does have
mana.
Okay, yeah, that's enough right there.
Yeah.
So Mystic Enforcer hit, I believe, Lee. And then that's it.
I think that's it so far.
So Beachbot is, yeah, you're right. I was just thinking because Lee has to kill Beachbot first and then Alexios to not free the Alexios. Or no, it's the opposite way. That's something bad for Beachbot of like if he kills Lee, then the Alexios is free and has to have another solution of his own.
Yeah.
I got there. Lee comes up with a recommission on Kami of False Hope to bring it back into play with a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah.
I
don't hate this play at all.
Chekhov's gun, the honored heirloom, comes back into play. Beachbot's gonna say no, you don't.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
So you're thinking that Beachbot has it.
I just based off the board state at the moment. Yeah, I don't know exactly how Lee's deck plays out, how fast the combo can be assembled and whatnot, but just looking at it, I mean, Dingus is kind of locked out of it with the Tamiyo's Completion on board. Beachbot's just got that gigantic commander just smashing face. What's he got underneath it?
It might be a Rancor. It's looking like a Rancor.
That's what I was thinking at first.
So that would put Mystic Enforcer becomes a 6/6, right? It'd be an 8/6 with that. That's a 2-turn kill. Yeah, it starts out as a 3/3, gets +3/+3 and flying when there's threshold.
And flying, I thought it got 3/3 and trample. Okay, so Rancor would make sense. It'd be an 8/8 with trample, or 8/6 with trample.
Yeah, that makes that bird becomes useful as like a, at least 2 turns is not, or 2 hits with that isn't lethal anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, Gator. I feel like I've watched Lee play before. They are a good player. I've just never seen this particular deck.
So I just saw that Tameo's completion hit the yard, which is concerning.
As did the Spirit Link.
But Alexios is still in play. Oh no, Alexios is just dead. Dingus is flat out dead.
Oh. What?
So that's where that attack went, I guess.
Okay.
So that was them solving the problem I was talking about with Tameo's completion of like, I have to kill Lee before I kill Alexios. And is that enough? That looks like Lee. No? Okay. The way that they untapped their lands was looked like a scoop,
Yeah.
but it was not. We're going to get another turn at least. Candlekeep Sage.
Candlekeep Sage on board. It's pretty good when you got a Flash Commander that loves entering the battlefield and leaving the battlefield.
Yeah. Just, I mean,
Game's good.
anything that's not a fog or, you know, something that deals with Mystic Enforcer is not good, though. I don't know how many commander damage Lee is at, but I imagine quite a bit.
What's up, Mizu-san in the chat?
Tournament winner, Mizu-san.
That's right, tournament winner, Mizu-san.
Mizu-san is trying to say that it's FNM loser Mizu-san, but
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
we see people for their best here.
That's right. At all times.
Is that a Sajiri step for Beachbod?
It looked like one.
Oh man, that card kills people. Like, if you're
That's a
any
good
kind
one.
of Voltron deck, just like, oh, this just says unblockable secretly.
Uh-huh. What color are you playing? Oh, cool.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely a Rancor back there. Lee taps the bird. Oh, that must have been a. Do you have any flyers? I got one. It's this bird. Takes the 8, passes the turn.
Yep.
Cycle a cycling land. It looks like Lee attacked Beachbod with Tobias.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yep. Scoop it up.
Yeah, he
Good
attacked
job.
again with Mystic
Good job,
Enforcer.
Beachbod.
Yep, that Mystic Enforcer deck, it rules. It's
The
so
thing
cool.
does work. It's so like innocuous, and then all of a sudden you're just like, wait, it's how big? And it's flying and it's trampling. Wait, what a sec? Wait, what?
Oh, that's fine. I've got a black removal in hand. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Wait a second. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for round 1. Welcome to round 2. We're back here. There's Duke Slayer on Tainted Observer coming back from last week. Dax is back on Aranis Gloomstalker. We watched that between rounds 1 and 2. That's going to be cut out of YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. But in third position, we've got Alexios, same exact position as last game. And we've got our old second position player, Lee W, on Tobias Doomed Conqueror. Hopefully we're going to see something out of this Tobias deck this time.
Dax starts with a Llanowar Elf. Got to commend that. Fantastic. White border Llanowar Elf. I think that's the strongest move we've seen all night. If you ask me. If you ask me.
Brad is a connoisseur of Llanowar Elves, so he knows.
That's right.
Oh, right away, there's a Skirk Prospector from Dingus. That's a good way to get Alexios out right quick.
Right with a quickness, as they say.
Just looks like an end step. Generous Ent cycle from Duke Slayer into it. What is that? Tangled Islet?
Tangled Islet, yep.
New Ponder.
Ooh.
Is that a Ponder or is it a Portent?
So when you're on a deck like Aranis that has the potential to be so grindy, so mid-rangey, kind of so slow, are you prioritizing getting Aranis out and protecting them early, or you want to try to establish your entire board first and then slam Aranis and start doing work? I mean,
It's not a
I'm
blue
sure it's kind
deck.
of game dependent, but
Yeah, so it's not a blue deck, so that's what I was gonna say. It's not as consistent. You have to play to whatever your hand is telling you to do and what the other players are forcing you to do. Airness
Hmm.
doesn't come down super quick, where like maybe there's gonna be a turn. Like, I guess there could be a turn 3 Airness here, but you don't. I don't think you want to do that. I think you want to have your Street Urchin out first.
Yeah.
There's nothing threatening you turn 2 yet. There's no untappers. Alexios is possibly a threat, but it would take a lot to immediately die to it. I don't think it's possible, actually.
I always forget the name of that elf that Dax just played. That one does not stick in my head for some reason.
Viridian Emissary.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Why is he searching?
He almost certainly misread the card.
Okay, I'll play my fetch land first, and then I'll go search, he says. That sounds good, Dax.
Yeah, Viridian Emissary, 2 mana, 2/1. When it dies, you go fetch a basic. Got some spooky, spooky elf art.
Seems says Suomi tends to play Airness and Urchin on the same turn. I would think that Urchin would be safe to play in advance.
Yeah, I could see that. Anytime I have a background in the command zone that I care about, I almost always try to play it first, but it just depends. Particularly with Gruul, it just ends up being so grindy sometimes.
I think he's going for a turn 2 Cobbled Wings, which just gives flying, no power boost or anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then Lee plays one of my personal favorites that I cannot remember the name of right now.
The Outlaw Medic?
Outlaw Medic, yeah, the 1/3 with lifelink, and when it dies, you draw a card. I played the 1/3 with lifelink and not the other ability before that, and I thought, oh, this will be a perfect swap in for Thraben Watcher. No, yes, I just want both, and I still have to play a French vanilla 1/3 with lifelink.
Yeah. Yeah, the Medic is real good, though. What's going on here?
Malevolent Rumble. Reveal the top 4. They're going to be milled. You can put a permanent in your hand. And that's a Cloud of Fairies.
Oh.
There's also a land aura and a couple of just lands. It looks like the Cloud of Fairies goes back in hand, and then the other ones are going to go in the graveyard. Duke's going to get an Eldrazi. Yeah, that seems solid, other than Duke needing to die now. Unfortunately.
Sorry, Duke.
That's something.
Your time has come.
Yeah. any kind of tutor or like card where you have to reveal, it feels real bad to be like, oh, I hit it. I got the jackpot. I just can't play it this turn, and everyone's just like glaring at you like, are you gonna take it? Are you gonna make me do this to you?
Well, thank God for that turn 1 elf, because Dax missed his land drop, but you got the turn 3 Airness.
So now that Airness is out, once Street Urchin comes in, that Viridian Emissary can go find another land. And Airness is going to be able to attack and tutor another land into play that way. So the best decks really have the ability to catch up, and it's something I've learned to trust when I play both Gretchen and Sphinx Summoner, of like, don't freak out, keep up the removal spell, you don't have to play all of your ramp spells as soon as possible. Trust your deck to catch back up, and they do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an easy trap to fall into.
The Cobbled Wings going on the Skirk Prospector.
Sure, why not? Something's got to turn sideways.
I mean, he could have sacrificed it to play Alexios.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was the plan, but we'll see.
Trying a different tactic, I assume, or they've got something that they want to leave up 2 mana for. Maybe the plan is kill Airness and then deploy. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, you got to get in there with the lifelinker.
For some reason, Alchemist's Apprentice is I've played maybe once in the last decade, and I know that card by heart, and I can't think
Which
of
one?
Alchemist's Apprentice. But that's what it is, right? From Lee W. It's just sacrifice this creature, draw a card. Let me see. Alchemist.
Yep, that's it. 2-mana, 1/1, second, draw card.
Actually, a really solid card. Like it's got the Steve
Sure.
secret text of you block with it and sack it. It does that really good. Tainted Observer out of Duke's Lair. Cloud of Fairies.
Cloud of Fairies.
The Tainted Observer combo or infect? I believe it is combo.
Yeah.
A lot of the a one way it could win is you play the Tainted Observer, you get one counter on everybody, and then you set up a way to generate infinite mana
Proliferate
and proliferate to death. Yeah.
into oblivion. Yeah.
Not that you don't know that, but I think that's what's going on here.
The one I played, Bobby's Tainted Observer deck was pretty slick. I like that one. I mean, it was killing us with poison or toxic, but it was also proliferating like sapperling. There are spore counters to make sapperlings and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was dope.
And if you can generate enough of those
Thalids,
of the
thank you, Thalids.
if you can generate enough Thalids that you can sacrifice to something, that's another way to generate infinite mana. So that's why you always kill Bobby.
Right, that you heard it first, right here.
So it looks like
secret
here, we're seeing an Abrade, most likely targeting Aranis, because Dex is looking at those cards real tough, well, real hard, rubbing them together, just trying to make a protection spell appear among them.
Trying to create a new card.
And that's
illusion.
That's probably going to be a precursor to the Alexios. Like Red's protection looks a lot like an Abrade.
Yeah, and we get rid of that Aranis, so that way you could drop your Alexios and not be too concerned about it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. A little Vines of Vastwood action.
I think the other route you could have gone is you sacrifice the Viridian Emissary and blow up the Skirk Prospector and just say, "Do you have land 4?"
What now, mono red? Take your decks. Get in there.
Yeah, it looks like that was pre-combat. That's real motivating of like, okay, you're not going to be able to recast your commander unless you protect it here. So
yep.
Dak's probably rightly assuming that there's a fair amount of hate coming his way.
Yeah, he would have to. He would have to.
But it's not unreasonable for Tainted Observer to be taking a bunch here. I guess really
no,
anybody.
it's yeah. I mean, Lee's looking a little unthreatening at the moment, but that can quickly turn. Azorius can turn a corner like that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's weird that Ashnod's combo math, the way it works, is based on the number of creatures that are in play. It really scales, and like that makes a difference. I'm trying to think how this one, like what kind of setup this deck would need to like get to a point where it could like just explode like that. And I think it would have to have a filter in play.
Yes, that was part of the primer, the refractor or whatever. Yeah.
Energy Refractor is in like it's crazy. Like it replacing itself. Like Urn of Dragonfire, I thought was super, like it's super reasonable because its other ability's not that great, but like, what a gift to combo decks.
Thanks, Watsy.
Also, you have the offhand dimension of Thalids comboing broke my mind. Don't play Thalids. It's a trap.
It's a trap. I mean, Bobby won with the deck, but don't do it.
Was this at a casual table?
Yeah, it was one of my Saturday streams.
I've brewed up three Thalid decks, like an evolution. What's the like the one that where you play a land and it proliferates everything? I've tried that one. I've tried the actual Thalid one. There was something else, and I was never satisfied with it. I think
What's
Tainted
the
Observer.
what was that downshift we got recently? Scooby built a deck for that one. It was pretty dope. We got a mono green downshift that makes a bunch of sapperling tokens or whatever. Ballads, maybe. I don't remember. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Putting it out there into the universe.
Yep. Somebody will know.
Okay, what is this? Oh, that's an Alexios.
Yeah, the Sanctuary token.
Yeah, and it looks like Dax was right in that it a homing missiled straight to his face.
Just right to it.
Tell that to Ellen Hargreaves, Bobby says. This is Derek. Derek does have a pretty mean Ellen Hargreaves deck.
I haven't seen it yet. I knew he had one, but I have not seen it in action. Derek enjoys fun. Derek enjoys Derek's type of fun, which is usually highly entertaining.
It's also really scary because he likes to make a lot of things
It's
move
very
around.
scary. Yeah, a lot. Very, very tactile. Very, lots of cardboard slinging around.
Yeah, Derek's doing that, and Alexios is also facilitating that.
Mm-hmm. So Duke currently has Alexios. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a... I can't remember the name of the game. It's actually a scam. It's also a Mario Party game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the game where there's like a total, they choose some kind of number, like 80, and they're like, okay, we can each choose 1 through 3, and that's how many marbles we're gonna remove, and there's 80 in here, and whoever, takes the last marble loses. And there's a way to game it so that no matter what number they choose, you choose like a corresponding number to always make it come out to the same like total of 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can always game it so that the other person loses. And it feels like that's kind of the game that Alexios makes you play, of like, okay, so Duke puts 7 more damage on Dax, so that Dax is 1 swing away from losing.
Mm-hmm.
And then then it becomes like, why isn't anybody killing this player? Because everybody wants to leave that as the last, like, I want you to become the person that has to attack this person last.
Yes.
So that my attacks can keep going elsewhere. Am I
Yep.
making any sense?
No, I get it. And Alexios does force the table to play that way. It doesn't seem like it would, but it does.
Yeah, Derek says once the first person dies, it falls apart. And so the table kind of, just in my experience, I've seen them more often try to leave, like, they don't try to leave each other alive, but it happens a lot, where it's like,
It happens
just
a
passing
lot.
the buck. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, passing the buck. I think that's a good way to put it. They don't necessarily or intentionally leave each other alive, but just they're almost timid with the Alexios. Like you said, they're sort of like, well, I don't want to take Dax out because of this reason and this reason. Like it becomes a very decision-heavy situation. Much more than I thought it would. I thought it would be like, oh, cool, we have Alexios. Now everyone's going to smash face, and that's just not how it ends up being.
Yeah, and like, it's just that they don't want to be the person to remove that last person, and they want to keep doing cool, like the good thing of getting everyone real close with the Alexios.
Yep.
And it's teaching people to play this sub game, I think.
It is. It is very much like a sub game. It's crazy. I did not expect that when that card was spoiled.
Now Dax gets an untap step with both Aranis and Street Urchin. It's like an experimental synthesizer and a
Pilferer?
What is it? Impulsive Pilferer.
Impulsive. Wow. I had it until you asked what it was. And then it was like, oh, it's gone. It's just a Pilferer.
Wait, Llanowar, generate a mana and sacrifice the Pilferer.
The Pilferer. Feels bad. Flip for synth. Yeah, it's not great. It's one of those. I think I've been burned by experimental synthesizer as many times as it's helped me out, I think.
I have really bad luck with impulse draw. Like,
Yeah.
just at all with any card. Definitely a bit better in Aranus. It's just like easy to sacrifice.
Yeah. Was it Too Much Dew that has a Golgari air in his deck?
I know he
it's not
plays Kaga.
Aranus. Yeah, he plays Kaga, but he has a partner, or not a partner, a Golgari background deck. And I cannot remember what his commander is.
Magus of the
But it's
Jank
pretty sweet.
says
I
it's
played
me.
against it a couple times.
Magus of the Jank does, says Derek.
Oh, what's up, Jank? I know Dew has one as well. What's your commander and background? Is it Aranus?
Killing Alexios with Aranus right now is such a good move.
Oh, Lee is got a lot of life over there. Aranus and Criminal Past. There we go. There it is. I have a problem building Golgari decks though. They always just end up very just rock, like, Golgari rock style decks. Like my Spirit Monger deck and what's the other Golgari one I have? But yeah, they just always end up being just gigantic, really boulder slow mid-range decks.
I tried my hand at Honest Rutstein. And I was just trying to set up as many mana restricted loops with all of the like bring another creature back from the graveyard type thing. And it did end up being really slow as well.
Yeah.
I built Old Man Willow and was like fairly happy with
I have
that.
Old Man Willow. I like that one a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it just being huge on its own is like enough to be the deck.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah. I've only played the deck, I think, 3 times, but I don't think it's never not an 8/8 or a 10/10 or whatever. Because it's so easy. Like, everything just ramps you nowadays. Like, that's one I thought about trying to make competitive.
And like it seems like it's like, oh yeah, that's all right. It's when after you've killed it once and it comes in and it's immediately that large again, no added work. That's when people realize of like, oh, this is where card is very strong.
Yeah, I think that was the one I chose for our Lord of the Rings set review and build deck. And yeah, it was just like that. It's like you're ramping so much that it's automatically, you're going to recast it as a 10/10, but because you're ramping so much, there really is no commander tax. Like, it's all paid for by all the ramp you're doing. So like you can kill it, and 6 mana is nothing. 8 mana is doesn't really hurt me much.
It's just, yeah, it's that concept of like, my deck is built to ramp. Even if you remove it, I'll just keep playing it. And how many of the removal spells can deal with a black creature that's this large?
Right. Yeah.
Your Snuff Out don't do it. And
just
it's
one
legendary.
Rancor or a and it's legendary, right? Yep. And then a Rancor or a Waxing Moon or something, and you're just done. You're toast, buddy.
Yeah. Guy's Gift or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
Like, meanwhile, it's removing all of the small blockers and like.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting kind of off topic.
Yeah.
There was a wedding invitation played, and Dax is pulling up Panic. It's a it's a slow draw spell that makes it so a creature can't block.
Mm-hmm.
Single red, that's pretty good. Dax might have something to say about this. Sacrifice Experimental Synthesizer. Reveal Hoarding Ogre.
Hoarding Ogre, yeah.
That's
not
gonna
bad.
Stay in exile forever.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Panic's fun. I don't think I've seen anybody play that in years. That's old school Magic right there.
It is pretty good with like I play it in Chaos Terminator Lord just because I put all the pingers in there and it wants to attack with double strike, and
right.
It serves its role. It's I think it's one of the better spells that Red even like has.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's like Dax is laying the smackdown. No, I'm gonna sacrifice my. Was there another thing sacrificed? Anyway, something was sacrificed, and that Alexios goes down.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a great synthesizer this round. Erosium, not great.
Lee produces the Ashnod's altar.
Yep. Turn 5 Ashnods. Okay. And he had it out the last game we watched, but he wasn't able to get anything done with it. Let's see what he can do with it this time. Still needs a filter.
Yeah, he can sack his board.
Uh-oh.
Pull out the notebook.
Y'all are in for it now.
Okay, it's just for mana tracking, it looks like. Sacrifice
Yeah.
the healer.
Yep.
To draw a card and generate 2 mana. That 2 mana can be used for the courier. Nope. It wants the mana. Up to 4 mana. Cathodian. When it dies, you can generate
spicy.
3 more mana.
Yeah.
That's very spicy.
Wow.
So that puts them down to 1 mana.
Oh, he might also be tracking the amount of creatures that have died too for Tobias. For each non-token creature you controlled that died this turn, create a zombie. Yeah. And then the zombies go into the Ashnods. It's a whole thing.
Dex the Alchemist Apprentice for a card.
I think he's hoping to draw into a mana filter. So once you have enough, you can just constantly, you can just loop Tobias the whole time.
Dex Tobias before the Cathodian. So that's going to be 4 zombies.
Maybe he didn't have a combo this turn. Maybe he literally just wanted a board of bodies. Now, granted, he's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 mana on board.
Yeah, that's at least 1 more Tobias.
Yeah, 1 more Tobias.
So that's the colored mana used up.
Tobias does not have an ETB, so nothing crazy going on there. And he may have the refractor or something in hand too, and just wait until the last possible minute to cast it. Because we're in his turn, right? Are we in somebody's end step, or are we in actual Lee's turn?
Yeah, it's Lee's turn because he just recast the Tobias.
Oh, well, it's got flash, is why I was asking.
Oh, that's true. But no, there was that Cathodian a second ago. And, Duke is not untapped, so... How many zombies is this? 9?
What's up, Springer?
That was an additional 6, so we're at 10.
We're 10.
We're at 20 mana worth of zombies. Yeah, Rosie, and the notebook whipped out onto the playmat. That was solid maneuver.
Force to be says, thank you for streaming, gents. Absolutely. It is so
Absolutely.
fun.
Thanks for chatting.
You can't play, at least tune in to watch. We understand everybody's
There you
got
go.
different schedules. And there will also be the VODs on YouTube, but tuning in live is always more fun. Get your voice in
So
there.
Lee did go with the plan of just, hey, I'm going to make a crap load of zombies and then pass my turn.
That's solid.
Sure. I have no problem with that.
A little scary looking at that, the mana cost of the commander at this point. I play quite a few decks that can do something like this, where it's like, I've been experimenting with Soldevi Adnate, and that card really brings situations like this, where it's like, okay, I can recast my commander 3 times and do all these broken things, but if I get stopped at all, like the Ashnods gets blown up, I'll never cast my commander again.
Right. Well, I think at this point, with all those zombies, I think he's basically mana positive regardless, right? Because each instance of commander tax would be covered by sacrificing a zombie to the altar.
It says non-token.
Oh, it does say non-token. Okay. Woo, I just did all that math for nothing. You're right. Non-token. Perfect.
Yeah, Wizards got your back for once.
Yeah. Thanks, Wizards.
There's an Archaeomancer from Duke Slayer bringing back the crop rotation, I believe.
Interesting.
Cloud of Fairies Archaeomancer is terrifying.
It is terrifying. It is. Nothing good happens when those two are out.
But past the turn, Dex, Table Police, is back on duty.
We've seen a lot of that tonight. Even in round 1, we've seen a lot of turns where it was like, scary card, pass. Big scary card, pass turn. Like, all these players are like 1 card or 1 land short of just wrecking everyone.
So that's the thing, transitioning out of like a casual, like where I'm used to playing casual, and like getting players that I've been playing with that are like, well, I'm just going to bring my best decks into a competitive environment. At first, it was manageable. Of like, well, one person maybe brought like a Weaver deck, and then we dogpile them. But when it gets to where it's this random group of people and they're all at this level of skill, sometimes it's just like, okay, everyone is this just like top level threat where I've made a rule in my head that all of this kind of thing needs to die. It's, I feel like when you throw a whole box of tennis balls at a dog and you're just like, I'll just shake my head because I don't know what to do.
I'm overstimulated and overwhelmed.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. No, I get like that a lot when I play competitive PDH. 1v1 popper or whatever, I could focus. Obviously, it's easy to focus. You just got like the one person you're focused on. That's easy. Multiplayer is just harder. There's so many different options, different board states, and then that's not even counting like the table conversation and the politics and everything else.
Exactly. It adds so many wrinkles to it that it becomes like incalculable sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. That's how it feels. All right, Dax turn and Aaron is sideways. Gonna go for that Brokers? Cabaretti? Which one is that?
Riveteer's Overlook?
Riveteers. There we go. That's the one I was thinking of, but I said Brokers.
Got it first try.
Oh, is that Bloodlust? I mean, Blood Frenzy? Love that card.
What does it do? Tell us.
It gives target attacking or blocking creature +4/+0 until the end of turn. Until the end of turn, but also at the end of turn, you have to sacrifice that creature, or the creature's controller has to sacrifice that creature. So it's a red. It's direct removal in red, and it has the potential of taking out multiple things. It's absurd.
So there's a Ranger's Guile in response from Dax. It says, please let me have my creature.
Yeah, so that was the move there. You target Aranis with Blood Frenzy.
Duke Slayer.
It's so good.
Duke Slayer produces a Spell Pierce.
Oh, it's a straight up destroy. Gets +4/+0 till the end of turn. At the end of turn, destroy that creature. So yeah, it's just direct red removal, targeted removal. What did the dispel hit?
Dax's Ranger's Guile that was protecting from the Blood Frenzy. So I think Aranis is gonna have an extra 4 power and then die in a second here, but we're resolving the shuffle for the Riveteer's Overlook.
Well, how are we doing the Riveteers?
That happened because of Aranis's trigger, and I don't think we just fully resolved that before.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm on board now. I get it.
That creature to the right, it reach.
Rip Chain Razorkin.
Yep.
Yeah. 5/3 for 4 mana with reach. Sacrifice a land to draw a card. For 2 in a red.
Nice.
From Duskmourn.
Yeah, it looks like Duskmourn art.
Pretty good in an Aranis deck that just like has infinite lands.
Right. Just so. I mean, I know Aranis, just like you said, it has infinite lands. It should never really have a trouble with mana, but it just feels like. It feels like my Halcyon deck. Like I have a Gruul Halcyon deck, and that deck is so unbelievably mana hungry that it's hard to get off the ground. But once it does, it's just almost game over.
Yeah, I do say infinite mana, but it's absolutely it's gonna use every single mana every single turn.
Yeah.
There is a mana geyser happening here for Dingus.
Ooh.
And we've got some deliberation happening between the blue decks.
We have got every land tapped. That is a lot of red mana. Like 18? Mana geyser for 18? That's cool. Solid maneuver.
I think you're right. It's 18. And it looks like Duke has been talked into muddle the mixture, targeting mana geyser. There's no red elemental blast, so that's going to go to the graveyard.
Oh, no red, no elemental blast, no pyroblast. We need a guttural response downshift.
Yes.
Yes, please.
I'd be on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
Dingus having to pass to the 20 power of zombies. That
That
Arosia
is a
reminds
horde
us.
of zombies.
Yep, that's still 20 power of zombies.
That's fantastic. I just posted something kind of like that on Blue Sky. Like I have a mono blue deck that makes black zombies, and I have a creature in the 99 that cares about if you control a black permanent. So it's just funny to have a mono blue deck that cares about black permanents, and that's what he's doing here. Just an Azorius deck that makes black creatures. It's great.
I do love those
Silly.
off-color tokens.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Lunarch veteran out of Lee. It's gonna, I guess, help with the life total that is not a problem for Lee already.
Yeah.
But any future huge zombie turns are gonna maybe tick that number up to 50.
Yeah, we can get there. I believe in you, Lee.
And it is 2 non-token creature deaths potentially, which is real important for Tobias.
Mm-hmm. What happened? Did we unearth it?
Yeah, that's an unearthed combat
Okay.
courier.
All right.
So that indicates that we're going for a Tobias this turn, most likely.
We're doing something, yeah.
First, let's attack for
Let's
2021. That's the right order for things, in case anyone watching was wondering.
Yep. Swing first, mana later.
Aranis has been worn down, not let do anything. Tainted Observer has 2 creatures that really don't want to block, and Dingus is wide
Yeah.
open. Like, this is, I think, how you draw it up if you're Lee. Of like, well, if I can't combo, at least I have 20 zombies, and I'll
Yeah,
go
just
from
start
there.
mowing people down. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, this is nice too. We didn't really get to see Lee do a whole lot in game 1 or the first round. So whether or not he pulls out a victory here, it's nice to see. Because I either never heard of Tobias or completely forgot it was a thing. So it's kind of cool to see this deck going to work.
Yeah, I honestly had no idea this existed, which is like one of like exactly what you want to happen when you're watching a tournament. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be knowledgeable and all that, but I still want to see things that I'm not familiar with, and I want to see players express like creativity and
Yeah,
like
and it's
that's
especially rare, I think, for newer legendaries. Like I feel like some of the newer sets in the last couple of years, whenever they spoil a good uncommon or a good uncommon legendary, there's 15 decks for it on Moxfield before the paper card is even printed. So it's nice to see one that I just didn't even know really existed.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of lists that pop up on Moxfield, but very few of those actually like make it to tables, I think. 'Cause
Yeah,
I have about 50 decks that I have on Moxfield. They're unlisted, but like most people don't unlist their decks like that, and they'll just have like 100 decks and they play, 1 or 2 sometimes.
yeah.
Looks like Dax took the brunt of that.
Oof.
Blocked with the
Face.
chain, the rip chain razorkin for one of the creatures, and then yeah, it
Dax.
just took the rest. That Riveteer's Overlook, I think, has produced enough life that's all of Dax's life.
I think so too. I think that's the only reason he's still around. Dax tends to play a lot of decks. He either has a similar play style to me or plays similar decks to what I play because we're just like the threat. Like every time I sit down to a table, like my deck is the threat, even though I don't even build it to be that way. It's just the type of decks I build end up being like, oh crap, we got to take care of that one or it's going to be a problem. I
Yeah.
rarely build decks that are like a problem like right out of the gate. It's always like, if you let me get to turn 8, y'all are dead. And that just never happens.
If you ever want to play a deck where you're not the problem, I recommend Gretchen Titchwillow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard of that one, I think.
Innocent at all times.
At all times. That's a bold statement.
I mean, so there's conceptually intimidating decks, and then there's board presence intimidating decks, and people
Yes.
will always go for what they can see and just hope that they can fade the conceptual threat.
Mhm.
And so like that's the side of the fence that I've decided that I want to be on, of like I want my win to be assembled in hand, and I don't want people to be able to see what I'm doing. And it's been rewarding. It's not as
you
fun
want
to
that
watch.
explosiveness. Yeah. Sure, that's fair, but
But that's what commentary
It pays
is for.
off. Exactly. Exactly.
An Archaeomancer and a Cloud of Fairies with a with a crop rotation in hand isn't exactly
Oh, and a Mystic Sanctuary. All right.
Sanctuary. Yeah,
What are we getting back here? What are we getting back?
Model mixture is pretty good, just generically.
Yeah. Muddle's pretty good. I could find him a Flicker or something.
Like I said, in my testing, if I sat with an Archaeomancer and a Cloud of Fairies in play for more than 2 turns in my testing, I would have just assumed I'm fully dead.
Oh, yeah. I would just assume that they died after 2 turns. Yep. 100%.
Duke did show, like, well, I don't immediately have a win. Like, I think last turn, like, he had these and didn't produce the High Tide, I think is the important thing.
Yeah.
And now it's like well, now that I've faded it once, Aranus sure is a problem. It's kind of ironic with a lot of these Aranus players, they're like, well, I want to dictate who wins the game, and I don't want it to be maybe a combo deck. And then they end up being such a threat that the combo deck again gets away with it because everyone's focusing on Aranus because Aranus is saying, well, no one can win the game.
Yeah, and that's not even like improper threat assessment. That's just how sometimes a deck like Aranus can just warp a table.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important distinction that I'm making it a point to point out of, like, all of these decisions that these players are making sense. And it's just the way that table incentive works.
Yep. And that was one of the hardest things about this particular format with me is understanding what decks do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you pick up Aranus Street Urchin, you have to be prepared for this style of game or to be treated a certain way, you know?
Yeah. And that's something that changed with, like, my Sphinx Summoner deck from before I won a tournament to after. Of, like, before, I could get away with a lot more, and now that everyone became, like, hyper aware of it, like, it had its moment in the sun...
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I have to build this as the arch enemy.
And
I'm still not sure if I'm ready to do that. I've been struggling with it. There was a prologue to Phyresis from Duke Slayer to give each of his opponents a poison counter and draw a card. So that's the setup for the payoff of activate proliferate any number of times. And there was a Basking Brood scale tutored off of the Muddle the Mixture from Duke.
That was going to be my next question. Yep.
So that's one of the ways that Tainted Observer can proliferate something and generate mana. So they're a Pentad Prism off from Winning, I believe. What's this card? You should know the name to that one.
Where are we at?
Top
Oh,
left.
the Arboreal Grazer?
Yep.
Yep.
I knew you knew it. I had complete faith.
Yep. I was just looking at that in my Old Man Willow deck. That thing is just a juicer. Like a turn 1 or 2 Arboreal Grazer is just... ain't nothing getting through to you for a while.
Yeah, these 1-mana 0-3s, like Hard Evidence and stuff, like... Put up a wall, every 1 and 2 power creature now has to attack a different player. So it in a way does damage in that it's just diverting it away from you. That's been my experience.
Yeah, armored armadillo is the same way. It's just the white for an 0-4. Like, okay.
That's one that, like, I completely believe is just, like, absolutely cracked and, like, does all of the things, and it's, like, just the right shape to be a good card. And then I'm like, what do I put this in? I'm too greedy. I want everything to draw a card. What do I do?
Yeah. Oh, I put it in. I only have it in one deck, but I put it in Minthara. Like a 1-mana 6/4. Like, that's fine. That's fine with me. I'm cool with that. That can potentially double its power or whatever that ability is.
So there was a Goblin and Archamancer from Dax, followed by a Rapacious one.
That's a good turn.
It's not an Aranus.
It's not an Aranus,
but that is
some board presence.
Yeah, that's 3 blockers.
It's enough. Even if it's blockers, it's enough of a threat to draw some removal. So, you know, potentially cast Aranus next turn safely.
Yeah, if you can divert the attackers from Lee, which are lethal,
Yeah.
And like even one attacker getting through means the Cloud of Fairies can. I guess you've got a reach creature. That's not true. I was gonna say that even the Cloud of Fairies could kill you, but that's just not true.
I wonder if Dax is playing any cannonades or any such nonsense.
It would be surprising, since Aranis is like. That's what I was
The
saying
removal.
earlier. Like, how many? I haven't seen a fight spell yet. Gator. Gator's in another game playing. Probably Sphinx Summoner, and I want to watch that game with every ounce of my heart. But
Bobby said no.
Bobby said no because there were reasons.
Yep.
It was mostly technical, like trying to get the fourth player. We're in Dingus's turn, discussing the finer points of casting an Alexios.
Mm-hmm.
I think asking permission from Dax. Dax, may I please play an Alexios?
Please.
Dax says,
Something needs to be
"No,
done
son."
about these other two players. No.
And as the player right before the Alexios, you never get the Alexios. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and always go somewhere else. No Alexios. Wow. I mean, Lee's pretty well set up. He's got to be just waiting for the filter, right?
Yeah, so what brings back Tobias? Is it just that, oh, you pay for the command tax and it just goes, it going to the command zone is how you pay for the command tax.
Yeah, basically.
I see. That old chestnut. Looks like Dax has been escorted out of the building.
Oh, love you, buddy. Where are the rest of them going? I'm guessing Dingus.
We need
I
to
just-
update
everybody.
Dax's name to be Dax, immediate arch enemy.
Yeah. He is good at that.
What happened to Alexios last? Second to altar or ran it into a creature? So it can't be sacrificed to the altar. I think it just ate a death touch ping from Aranis. Yeah, Bobby confirms.
I got Aranis.
It's a verb.
Yep.
Pinged, I guess, if you wanted to use that word.
It got earned. Yeah, Lee's pretty well set up here. He's got more life than the other two combined. Plenty more power on the board. And I think it seems like he has something planned because he's totally tapped out with his commander in the command zone. But all his mana is open for the moment. I can hear the gears turning. Now I don't know. I meant to look to see what the payoff was for the mana. I assume it's a capsize or something.
Zombies aren't efficient. Zombies aren't sufficient. Sufficient is the word I was looking at.
True.
Oh, there's a Kami of False Hope.
Here's the notebook.
Yeah, so that's the 2
Just
mana
got
off
real.
of sacrificing the Lunarch Veteran. 2 mana, bring back Lunarch Veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And now, whenever a creature leaves, it triggers.
Oh no.
I think use one of the colorless and a blue. What is this? Okami Adversary?
Oak and Siren.
Oaken Siren? Okay.
Oaken Siren. Okay.
Oaken Siren.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, the 2 mana 1/2. Yeah. Flying Vigilance artifact.
The voice of God is played by Bobby, who comes in and bequeaths knowledge upon us.
You may know him from other Pauper Commander Tournament series as Sanctuary.
I'm also sometimes not Brad and sometimes not Liam.
Yeah. He's yet to be not Alk, but he's been plenty of not the other hosts.
Weird that when he is trying to be that, he becomes not that. I would think that all the time he's not any of those things.
I know, it's a weird dynamic. It's the rules of content, man. Can't make them, you gotta go with the content gods. It's all about the algorithms, and Liam creates the algorithm, so. Yeah, we're doing a loop. He just representing here. Let's get some more zombies online. Let's do some more silliness.
Played Tobias, sacked it, generate 5 zombies, have some number of mana in the pool, probably 2, and then pass. It looks like colored mana a big restricting factor that turn. What's up?
The combo is basically make a million zombies.
Just since so
That's
just
it.
be able to sack one more creature than the command text is,
Mm-hmm.
and then just as you loop through the command zone, it generates a zombie every time.
I guess there's actually 3 combos. One is a million zombies. The other one is a different way to do zombies. Oh, they're all 3 just different ways to do zombies. That's dope. That's awesome.
You know, every time I've been able to produce infinite golems in my Sphinx Summoner deck, they've always been either Pestilenced or Crypt Rats.
I don't know what Drake's got going on here, or Duke, I mean, but Dingus has not had a very productive game. Which happens. I mean, that's not...
Yeah. Alexios is frequently first out of the gate, and then
the first
things
back
go
into the game.
south. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is good for us. This game could have been overturned like 5 or 4.
That's true. Yeah.
Minhorn Elves, it looks like.
There we go. There's the commander.
Oh,
Oh my god, is that a cannonade?
Yeah, it is. 2 damage to each creature. Sorry about your zombies, bro.
Oh. Nope, he's got a response.
2 second creature. Oh, second creature to pay for the foil with Ashnod's Altar. Counter target spell.
Oh no. I wonder how long Lee was holding on to that foil.
Opening hand.
You would think so. Maybe he's just waiting for that too. Oh man. So he needs 9 zombies for Dingus. 7 zombies for Duke. 12 there. 10. So he needs 22 zombies total to kill everyone.
1 card in hand. I think he's probably going to have to make do with what he's got.
Yeah, probably.
An attack on Duke. You'd lose 1, but you'd get there eventually. And then as long as you've got some kind of answer for Alexios once. Oh, yeah, this could be it with the Alexios added to the attack for Duke.
I feel like you could take out Dingus on this turn if you wanted to, if Lee wanted to. You could get Duke down to low single digits.
You can't just kill Duke with the Alexios and all the zombies?
Oh, now that he has Electro, yeah. With Alexios now, I think he could take out either one of them.
If you can't take out Duke, I think you'd at least start removing, like, Archaeomancer, Cloud of Fairies, like, important pieces.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're going to be very methodical about it, though. Leaving up even a couple of zombies is enough to stop the one swing that Dingus is going to get with Alexios.
He just said YOLO. We're turning everything sideways.
And special shout out to Dax, who is streaming this game to us to help with the Moxfield the spell table issue. It's streaming in full screen, which is very appreciated.
Fantastic. Very helpful. Yes. Dax is a wonderful human being.
Absolutely.
That we will hopefully see at Chicago.
So it's looking like the pile on the right is attacking Duke, and the small pile of 4 zombies is attacking Dingus.
What is that?
That's a Sapphire Charm, and I suspect that the relevant mode is phase out target creature you don't control. Puzzle Box regards that as a blue 1 mana removal spell. Which, I mean, in the world of Freed from the Real Combos, it is. It also has target player draws a card, which when you can capsize bounce something like infinitely, or like bounce your own stuff or bounce that back to your hand any number of times, that's also a win condition.
Yeah, you just deck them. Well, I'm guessing you targeted the Alexios.
Be a pretty good target. That'll mean that Duke doesn't get Alexios because it'll be phased out on Duke's turn. It actually also means that Dingus won't get it because it phases out on Lee's turn.
What?
Lee controls it. It's phasing out,
Mhm.
and it phases back in on its controller's untap step.
Oh, not owners.
How many times do you think Dingus has said, "I can make that unblockable if you want"? That's what I always. That's the catchphrase when you have a wedding invitation.
Wedding invitation.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I do love that card though. It's so good. I've won at least a couple games on the back of that card.
Not surprising. Like the Cloud of Fairies is jumping into the fray.
Ooh.
4 creatures are blocked. We're leaving the Archaeomancer back in the most suspicious way possible.
Can't imagine what's going on there.
Is Archaeomancer a combo piece, guys? Is there anything
think
broken you can do with
so.
that?
No, I mean, you might be able to dig deep and find something, something weird, some weird interaction, but I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, he's just a goofy dude.
Just a goofy dude. I don't know. Maybe there's an article by Sam Black that could explain to us what it does.
There might be.
It's the most surreal experience. I'm sitting with Gavin Duggan from the Commander Rules Committee, who's talking to Sam Black while I'm playing a game with Scarecrow. And Sam Black had just finished that article about, like, Peregrine Drake should be banned in PDH.
Oh my god, I remember that, yeah.
And Scarecrow was on Reddit, like, arguing with him hardcore. And then he shows up to this convention a couple days later and is, like, trying to be like, yeah, this is a thing, right, guys? And Sam had no idea it was the same guy from Reddit sitting on the table being like, no, dude!
Shut up.
He's like, it's a problem. And he's like, no, it's not. It's like, not even the most played thing in competitive. And
That's hilarious.
I
didn't know that. Was that last year at Vegas?
Yeah.
That's
like,
funny.
you were there. You were, like, right around the corner by that pillar. So Duke Slayer lives at 1. Slides
Dingus
his own.
Dingus has been at 17 for, like, 4 turns now.
Yeah, Dingus isn't even a threat.
No, he's not. There's the brood scale.
There's the brood scale. So that's it, right? If you can get a counter on the brood scale, then you can sacrifice the generated token to generate 2 mana and start looping that through the proliferate combo, and everybody has a toxic counter on them already. You just have to sacrifice, like, anything.
Generate 4 and a green's gonna put a counter on the brood scale.
Just as Lee's 1 card something that matters? I highly doubt it.
Right.
To the pointing phase.
Yeah, because if you're sacking to Ashnod's Altar, that directly pays for Tainted Observer's ability.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I mean, we've been learning. There's a lot of lines with Tainted Observer. Oh, Lee's got an Arcane Signet.
That's it.
Notoriously not a removal spell.
No, it is not. I mean, you could try. Most players won't let you get away with it, though.
All
Even if you say, like, I really want to counter your spell, they don't allow it.
All right, well, that was
That was
a
it.
wild ride.
That was a wild ride. Lee had it literally locked up until that last turn.
Thank you, everybody, for playing. Every single one of these decks has been incredible to watch, and
It really has been.
there's a lot to be learned by watching these players. They're really fantastic. I've been astounded by, like, trying to go into the competitive community and, like, I want to make a name for myself, and it's just like people are so gosh dang smart.
Oh my, they're so smart. They're savvy and they're smart and they know the rules and they can read. It's wild. It's wild.
No need to pick on Dax like that.
I suffer from it as well.
He's been
Plenty of
been
times.
beat up enough on tonight, don't you think?
Yeah.
All All right. Anything you want to push before we sign out here, Brad?
I don't think so. Just check out Labyrinth's content on YouTube. It's awesome. Check out the PDH pod. We're on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast, basically. And then check out literally everything Bobby does. It's all awesome. Get in some tournaments. The Pauper Duel Commander tournament's coming up in a week from tomorrow. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening to
Yeah.
the crossover with Common Theory, the episode of PDH Pod, and
Mhm.
you guys are killing it. I'm
Sweet.
glad that you're
Appreciate
back, and
Yeah, me too. It was a long 6 weeks or however long. I don't know how long it was. Long time. It felt like it.
All right. Well, I'm signing out. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
See you, Chad.
Bye.